Hi, and welcome to Acting is Everything. I'm Judy Kerr, and I'm continuing my interview with Scott Sedita, who has written Scott Sedita's Guide to Making It in Hollywood, the 3 steps to success and the 3 steps to failure.
Ooh,
Here's Scott Sedita.
I think I should stand like this.
Yes, right. Scott was agent, casting director, now acting coach.
The last 10 years, yeah.
Right, and the last time that we talked on air, we were talking about your book, The 8 Characters of Comedy.
So much has happened with that book.
It has,
Yeah.
and so how did you come to, because at that time you were never writing another book.
Right. Well, actually, The 8 Characters of Comedy is doing well. That's number one. It's become a textbook in universities and colleges, which is I'm so proud of the technique. And this book actually is something that I have been talking about and lecturing on for years. I'm an acting coach, but one of the things that I bring to the game, so to speak, is my experience as an agent and casting director. One of the things that we do at the studio is, the little slogan we have is where the craft and the career come together. So I'm very career oriented. I believe in the craft of acting, and that should be first, but, and then I put the career on top of that. And due to the fact that that's just my history. I was an agent for almost 10 years. I was a casting director. That informs who I am and how I can help actors. So I've been talking about how to make it in Hollywood for a long time. I've been talking about talent, confidence, and perseverance. You know, I've been.
And those are the 3 steps to success. Well, what about luck?
You know, first of all,
don't we all want to be lucky?
Well,
Get
that's
lucky?
a good. No, that's actually a very good question, because a lot of industry out here would actually say it's all about luck. That it doesn't matter. There's nothing to do with talent, confidence, or perseverance. And first of all, I believe in luck. I believe in our personal lives. I believe in karma, fate, and destiny, or luck. I believe that, but I believe in luck. You know, when you win the lottery, you're lucky. When you you leave a car accident and you're unscathed. Or recently I was driving down the street going a little too fast, and I looked to my right and there was a cop car, and I thought, oh God, but as I was speeding through, he looked the other way. That's lucky. But when it comes to an acting career and an actor's pursuit, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And actors need to really realize that. You need to be prepared. You need to do the work for opportunity to come, when opportunity comes, because opportunity will come. There will be many chances and opportunity to come your way. You just need to make sure that you're prepared for that.
What kind of opportunities? Some people think those are very rare.
No, they're not rare at all. And the thing is that we make our opportunities. See, we're in charge of our lucky breaks, because we can. The thing that you need to do as an actor, you need to prepare. And as you're preparing, and I mean preparing the craft of acting, but you're also preparing and letting people know that you are an actor, that you are doing this work, that you are putting yourself out there. And you need to do that on a continual basis, because then you'll be preparing not just for your craft, but you'll be preparing for your career. And you need to constantly be putting yourself out there, whether it's a showcase or a casting director seminar or doing a demo reel. That's preparing. Or industry functions, is constantly putting yourself out there, because you're telling the universe, I'm ready, I'm preparing, I'm ready, because then there will be an opportunity. And opportunities always come. The problem is that when they come and you're not prepared, then
they fly away.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that they're not going to come and knock on your door and ask you to be in a movie?
No. No,
That isn't how it works?
No, that doesn't work. That's not how it works. And unfortunately, one in thousands does that happen to, and that's the idea behind perseverance as well. No one's going to come knocking on your door. But I do believe in the idea of preparation meets opportunity and the idea of luck. I think that's important because the more you stay in the game, the more you put yourself out there, the more doors will open for opportunity. And listen, I've been in this business for 25 years, so when I talk about that, it's because I've seen so many people have successes. I've seen those people from my time as an agent, from my time as a casting director, from my time as an acting coach. I've seen how people become successful. And
well, just in your very beginnings when you were an agent, you were Courtney Cox's agent in New York.
Absolutely. Matt LeBlanc, Christopher Maloney, Dylan Walsh. And Dylan Walsh is a great story. Dylan Walsh is the star of Nip Tuck. I represented Dylan Walsh when he was 21 years old. And he got out a 4-year program, acting program. He came to New York. He worked and prepared, and then he got a couple of gigs, and then he got a big break. It was a movie. Then after the movie, it kind of slowed down for him. Not that it slowed down because he always worked as an actor. He was always working as an actor. But he didn't have that success that he had in that movie. He was guest starring, he did arcs on TV shows, he did many independent films, but it wasn't until he was 40 years old that Nip Tuck came along. And there he is on a hit show. He's been doing it for quite a few years now. And he stayed in the game, and that is part of what you need to do. You need to be a lifer. It's not about being a 6-monther or a 1-yearer or 3-yearer. You're doing it for life. This is what you're doing. And this could go with not just acting, with anything you want to do. You have to become a lifer in what you want to do.
One of the success stories, or are we calling these success stories in the back of the book? Yeah, success stories. Isn't that interesting? That's the name of that chapter. And one of them interested me a lot, and I know you went to Boston University, and you really mixed with some well-known celebrities.
Right. I went to Boston University as an actor, and I was there for 2 years. And after my second year of being in the acting program, I kind of looked at myself amongst the other actors, and what I saw, one of the things you see when you go to acting school, at least for me, you see varying degrees of talent, you see varying degrees of confidence, and you see varying degrees of perseverance. And one of the things I really realized right then and there—
And those happen to be the
three steps to success, absolutely. But one of the things you realize is that you need to want it. And for me, I wasn't sure if I wanted it that much. And in order to be in this business and be an actor, you need to really want it. And there were actors there who I immediately saw wanted it. And one of them is one of the success stories that you like.
Right. Yes, it's one of my favorite. Well, I think it demonstrates all 3 of those steps to success.
Right.
But I think the perseverance.
Absolutely, perseverance is really.
Tell us that story.
Should I give the name first, or should I not?
No.
Okay. Well, there was
at the end you'll give the name. You could give his.
His name was Jay, and Jay was a really terrific actor.
He was a dorm mate.
He was a dorm mate, and he was a terrific actor and stocky build, had a sense of confidence about himself that was already instilled in him in his childhood. Plus, he was loaded with talent. And I wasn't sure how much perseverance he had until I witnessed it firsthand. He always did well in acting classes. In one particular acting class, he worked on a Shakespearean monologue, and after the monologue, the teacher uncharacteristically ripped into him. Whether he didn't go deep enough, or the characterization was off, whatever it was a wrong choice. It was very rare for us students to see that Jay was getting such negative feedback. And so after class, I saw him in the dorm, and I went up to him and I said, "I'm really sorry that you got such negative feedback. Why don't we go and have a pity party?" well, let's go out, have some coffee or beer, and he said, no, I got other things to do, I got things to do. And I thought to myself, well, I'll go have the pity party then. So I went out and I had a couple of beers for Jay, and I got back and I went up to his dorm room because I heard his shouting, his voice, loud, and I opened the door to his dorm room and I immediately felt this warmth in the room. I felt like I could smell sweat and like as if he was working out, and I saw him pacing and he was very intense and he was working on his Shakespearean monologue. And you could tell that he had been working on it for a while. And I closed the door and went into my dorm room, which is interesting because my dorm room, there was no sweat going on. It was cool and it was clean and it was talking about want. The next day in class, Jay asked to do his monologue again, and the teacher said, you need probably more time with it. There's no need to do it. No, I really want to do it. So he said, go up, and he did it. He paused before he did it. He did the monologue, and after it was over, there was this hush over the room. And then the teacher started to applaud him. And we all started to applaud. He had nailed it. It was terrific work. And it was at that moment that I thought, wow, that's what it takes to be an actor. He got the criticism. Some could take it as rejection. He felt disappointed, I'm sure, but he took that and went and started to work on that. He worked on his craft. He worked on that monologue over and over and over again. He practiced, practiced, practiced. And then he brought it back and fought to get it seen again. And he nailed it. And that's not just about what one needs to do as an actor in craft, but you need to transfer that into a career.
And has he transferred that into a career?
Yes, he did, because Jay Greenspan turned into Jason Alexander, star of Seinfeld. He's a Tony Award-winning actor. And, the funny thing about it, and he's directing all over the place, and he's a terrific guy. Yeah. He's really a great guy. Yeah, he's a generous, terrific guy. He's an actor's actor.
Right. And for the audience, I was the dialogue coach on Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's right. You know Jason. Yes, you do. Wow.
But Jason had a photographic mind, and so
he did.
Yes.
Wow.
And so he was not rehearsing the lines in what he was doing. Mm-hmm. In fact, I accused him the last show of learning the script before he looked at it, because he would read it once and really have it down and the cues memorized. And he was great because, and in fact, I even was the coach on his show, the short-lived show, because we would love to just gossip. He would run through the script maybe once or twice, and then we would gossip.
Yeah, but I have to tell you something. He's a professional. He's been doing this for a very long time. Kelsey Grammer is the same way. Many of these stars who've been doing it for years and years and years have their own way of approaching a show, whether it's a single-camera comedy or a multi-camera comedy or a drama. And it takes a really long time to get to that point where you can read the script, where you inherently understand what's going on, the want, the obstacle.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, he would still figure out that.
Oh, he would. I know that he would do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only talking about lines.
Right. Yeah.
Which were never a problem for him. So what I want to reiterate for the audience is it was the acting technique. It was his want. It was all of that work that he had to do. It wasn't memorizing the lines.
Right.
So many beginning actors think that it's all about learning your lines, and of course that's the last thing that
well, he went to, in Boston University, that was a 4-year program that was an acting school where you acted every single day for 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and then you went home and you rehearsed. And it's so actors don't realize when they come to LA that they have somehow, some way need to at least match that practice time and class time.
Right.
And they don't.
Right. What else, talking about, because that's kind of an obstacle that you're talking about, and so I'm kind of jumping ahead to the 3 steps to failure.
Oh, the 3 steps to failure.
And talking about fear, because I know that's one of the obstacles, not the steps. The 3 steps to failure are distractions, addictions, and wrong actions, correct?
Yeah, the book is broken down into 2 sections. The first section is the want. You've got to understand the want. You know, in acting, I always use the want for actors. What is your want in the scene? What do you as the character want?
What is the objective?
Yes, exactly. Now, the objective is a fine word. It doesn't work for me necessarily. I think it's too heady. It's too, where want is raw and visceral. Because we want something every single day.
Or a minute.
I want to kiss you. I want to leave. I want to make love. I want to read this book. I want to eat. Exactly, exactly. We don't say my objective is to make love or my objective is to, you know, we say I want, I want, I want. And so it starts with that, and from knowing and understanding your want, you lead into the talent, the confidence, and the perseverance. Those are the 3 steps to success. Now in section 2, with every want, there is an obstacle. And there has to be. Otherwise, if we didn't have any obstacles, there would be no tension. So with every want, there's an obstacle. And it's overcoming those obstacles that enrich you as a person. And one of the obstacles, well, the main obstacle is fear. And fear manifests into the 3 steps to failure, which are, as you said, addictions, distractions, wrong actions. So fear is really is really difficult for actors to. I've broken down fear into the fear of failure and the fear of success. The problem with fear is human. We all fear. It's a natural thing that we do. And fear comes from, some of us were born with a little more fear than others, but mostly fear comes from our upbringing. And the thing with fear is
what do you mean? Comes from our upbringing?
Well, how our parents, teachers, friends, that's where most of our fear is informed, you know, what we're brought up with. And that's where a lot of our fear comes from.
Because our parents try to make us afraid?
No, I think that because
we're afraid of our parents.
Oh no, I think because some parents didn't teach us to overcome our fears. I don't want to go and play over there, and we're not told to be encouraged to go and do that. So it's okay. Don't worry about doing it. So some of us were taught fear. If you go and do that, it's going to be bad. And so we're brought up to have this fear. We all have fear about everything. We all have a moment of fear. You know, even just sitting here talking to you before the camera goes on, there's a fear that happens. But the thing about fear is that you need to experience fear. And a lot of times actors don't experience the fear. They will run away from the fear. You need to experience the fear, then work through the fear, overcome it. It's like jumping out of a...
Okay, can I ask
you?
Sure. Experience, what do you mean experience the fear? I mean...
Let's say you're going to go skydiving. That is something I would never do. I take a lot of risks in my life. Skydiving wouldn't be one of them. But it's something you always wanted to do. You want to feel that thrill. So right before you jump, you will feel a feeling of fear. What will happen? The fear of I will hurt myself, or just the fear of the unknown. And you have a choice right then and there. Do you jump or not jump? What I mean by experiencing is that you let the experience happen. I am fearful. I am fearful about jumping. You let it, because fear is not a fact. It's not. In other words, I'm fearful if I jump, I'm going to break my leg. That's not a fact. So fear is something that you have, and if you say I'm not going to jump because I'm going to break my leg when I land, then you will make it a fact. So you say you experience it. You talk it through. You say it out loud. I'm fearful of jumping, and then you not only experience but you jump. And by jumping, you're starting to overcome it. And when you land, you have completely overcome it, and you've done it. And that same thing that actors feel about the business. From going into an audition, to going into an agent's meeting, to going into acting class, they have this fear. And some of them fear that they'll either fall on their face, and if they fall on their face, then they will experience humiliation or abandonment. And others feel that if they succeed, that the spotlight will be shined on them more and the expectations will be stronger and higher, and they'll have to always do their best on a continual basis. And that fear stops an actor from going forward. That fear will make you procrastinate, will make you late. That fear will develop and manifest into many of the wrong actions that I have. And actors experience that. Even if you're in an acting class, and I've seen this a lot, you go to acting class and you go every week and you go every week and you're doing well. Then all of a sudden something happens. The actor starts to be late. The actor doesn't come to class. The actor stops taking class, and you go, why? Why is that happening? Sometimes the actor feels like the fear starts to set in. Well, if I'm doing really well, that means I need to go get an agent. And if I go get an agent, what will that mean? That means I have to put myself out there more. That means I'm going to have to work harder. Actors are fearful of working really, really hard. 12-hour-a-day hard. That's what actors need to do.
They're afraid of that?
Yeah, because they'll be overwhelmed. If they weren't afraid, more and more would do it. More and more would not be sitting home, talking on the phone, doing things that have nothing to do with their career. They would be, there's 24 hours in a day. 8 hours I'll give you to sleep, right? I'll give you another 4 hours for fun and relaxation. That's 12 hours a day times 7 that you can do something for not only your craft, but also your career. If that means getting a survival job or 2 survival jobs, if that means taking acting classes, if that means getting together with other actors, putting out your headshots, getting your demo reel, shooting a demo reel, there is a lot we're learning monologues. It's interesting because it seems like we're back again with agents and managers wanting monologues. So you need to have 2 monologues. I just sent an actor in, and the agent, big manager, liked this actor, said, I liked your monologues, and you come back and bring me 2 more as soon as you can. I just want to see something else. And that actor has to go and do that. This is what actors need to be doing, but they don't do it. See, the thing is this. The reason they don't do it, the reason they'll say they won't do it, is because they'll say, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. But they're not lazy. They're just fearful. That's the whole thing. There's no lazy actors. There's just fearful actors. They feel like if they
Is that why so few are successful?
Yeah. I think that's one of the big reasons. I think fear is a huge reason for anyone in life and doing anything they want to do. You look at the people who are really, really successful, they're hard workers. They work long hours, 12, 14 hours a day, work. The problem with actors, and one of the reasons I wrote the book, is because actors aren't like lawyers or doctors or even accountants. They don't have this, you go to a 4-year program, and then you go to a 4-year grad, and then you get your clerkship, and then you get an internship, and this is how it goes. This is the program. This is the plan. Actors don't have that. So they're left to be undisciplined. They're left to kind of figure it out for themselves. They know they need to go to acting class, some of them do, and they know they need to be doing other things, but the idea of this book was to go, here's what you need to do, and that's in the perseverance section. Here is what you need to be doing, and you'll know if you do that and you keep doing that, then you can guarantee that you'll be successful. But if you don't do it, then,
So the fear of failure and the fear of success are
the internal. They're kind of they're the same thing of the internal struggle. They're kind of the flip side of each of them.
It seems like the fear of failure would drive you, like it did Jason, to work on that because he felt like he was failing in that monologue, and so he was.
Well, I think fear is can be a great drive Absolutely, but you have to experience it. Using Jason as an example, he said, "This is how I feel. I'm not going to fail on this, and I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to be that. I know I believe in myself. I know I have the confidence to be good. I'm not going to run away from this." Most actors would run away from it and maybe put it off.
And that he had to petition the teacher to let him do it.
Because he believed in himself. He believed in himself. Confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah.
And you talk about confidence and the 3 steps to success, and you even have a scale of how people can figure out.
In each of the chapters, talent, confidence, and perseverance, I've broken it down to a talent scale, a confidence scale, and a perseverance.
The scale is kind of an exercise.
Yeah, from 1 to 3, to rate yourself from 1 to 3 from the time you were born to present day. Of where you're, what you came into this world. One of the things I believe in is that talent is innate. We should probably talk a little about that, because this is the most controversial, provocative of the book. Is that I don't believe that. I believe that actors have to have an innate ability to act in order to be actors, in order to be successful. In other words, you need to be born with an innate ability to act. And I call that your acting gene. And some people feel like, oh, that's BS. You don't need talent in this business. Look at all these untalented people working. And I disagree with that.
I do too.
I think that there are definitely some people who have gotten booked movies that didn't have much talent. But if you want to have a career that has longevity, you need to have talent. And talent is something innate. You are born with your talent. And that's not just, acting. I mean, if we use American Idol, in the audition portion of American Idol, we see all these everyday people coming in auditioning and trying to sing, thinking that they're singers. And they just have no innate ability to sing. If there's an acting gene, there's probably a singing gene. I mean, there's no support, no practice, no harsh criticism from Simon Cowell ever make these people singers, because they just can't sing. And in this case, practice will not make perfect. But if you do have an innate ability to act, and that's one of the things the scale will help you figure out as well, is you have a choice then what to do with it. Because I believe that if you are born with a talent like acting, that it's a gift, that you have a gift. But
doesn't it drive you?
Yes, I think that hopefully that gift is your calling. And this is something you need to do. But I also believe in choice. I believe that you can acknowledge, you can say, I acknowledge that I have a gift to act, to sing, to dance, to paint, but I choose not to use that as a career. Because we know people who are just wonderful painters, who are wonderful singers or actors, our parents, our brothers and sisters, but for whatever reason, they chose not to pursue that as a career. But if you do choose to take your gift, as such as acting gift, and use it as a career, then you're accountable and responsible for working that gift, meaning that you need to study. That it's a craft. Acting is a craft. You need to study and practice, practice, practice. And that's where a lot of actors go wrong. Yes, they come into LA and they have an innate ability to act, that raw talent, it's incredible. But unless that they work on that talent, unless they work at it all the time, I always consider actors like sports figures. I don't really see much difference between Tiger Woods and Daniel Day-Lewis. I think they both were born with a certain amount of talent. They had to grow to have confidence about themselves, because you are born with a certain amount of confidence, but confidence is learned, and then they had to persevere. And those are two people who persevered, who work at their craft on a continual basis. So, when you come to town, when you come to LA, or even if you're in New York, and if you're not working at your craft, then how are you supposed to have a career? Some people have the delusion that you don't need to work on your craft in order to have a career, and they're wrong. And unfortunately, they figure that out way too late.
Wow. We're talking about the 4 P's, and you just mentioned
yes.
preparation. What are the 4 P's? You talk about it in the book.
Your purpose. What is your purpose?
What
Your
does
purpose,
that mean?
your want. What do you want? You want to be a successful actor. That's your purpose. What's your pursuit? That's the plan you're going to take to do that. That is what you're going to do, and that is laid out in my perseverance. That is, I'm going to take acting classes. I'm going to get an agent. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a demo reel. I'm going to do this. That is the plan that you've put forward in order for you to do that. And something else I've worked in. As far as your pursuit is a CAG. It's a call to action group.
Oh,
is
yes,
forming a call to action group, getting other actors like yourself, and you don't need to necessarily have them be the same types. It's always sometimes better for them not to be the same type as you.
And people can do this all over the country.
Absolutely,
it doesn't have to be.
Absolutely.
It can be in a small town.
Yeah, and
community theater group.
A call to action group that will not just help you in your work as talent and your confidence, but also getting ahead in your career. And actors need support in their pursuit. Their plan, because they don't have a plan like doctors and lawyers, they need support. And I think it's really important that they get that support from other actors. So purpose is you want to be successful. The pursuit is the plan.
And you also talk about the actor's notebook.
The actor's journal.
Oh, the actor's journal.
I think it's, you know how.
And wouldn't that be in the purpose or the?
The actor's journal is for everything, talent, confidence, and
okay.
perseverance. You know,
so,
I think that it's important to have a notebook that you carry around that you can write in. Not only the craft, what works for you craft-wise, but also you never know about a casting director doing something or an agent just is looking for new actors. It's always important to have that book. It helps you be organized. And you know what? The good thing about having an actor's journal is that if you're not going through 3 or 4 of them a year, something's wrong. You're not working that 12-hour day. You're not doing what you need to do. Because that actor's journal needs to be filled with craft and career material. So the other P's are patience. It's so hard for so many people just in general, whether they're actors or not, but for an actor, having patience is really important because it's part of staying in the game. There is an expression that is used out here. It's called hurry up and wait. And it was originally used on sets, movie sets, meaning that the actor would be in their trailer, be called to the set, be ready to go on, hurry up, get to the set. They'd get to the set, and all of a sudden, the lighting guy or the camera guy or the director needs to do, and they need to wait. And that's where the expression comes from. But I can say that's really how actors have to live their careers. It's a bunch of hurry up and wait. Hurry up, get your put your headshot to that agent, and then you have to wait for the agent to call. Hurry up, get to the call back, and then you wait for the phone to ring. And what's important that happens in that waiting, in that patient time, is that you do work. Not only do you stay emotionally clear and balanced, but also what you need to do in that waiting period is the persistence, which is the 4 of the 4 P's of perseverance, is being persistent, doing work. And this is where the grunt work comes in. This is where doing the headshot mailing, working on your monologues, working on your demo reel, being persistent every day. And the thing is that if actors can really get this going, if they can really give themselves a work ethic of really working hard in the beginning stages of their career on a continual basis, then they will be used to working hard, and they'll always work hard. And they'll get that work ethic, because it's really interesting. Once you become a successful actor, then you work a 12 to 14-hour day. I say you better be working at least a 12-hour day, so you know what it's going to be like when you do become successful. But you only can become successful if you do that work. And I think it's important for actors to realize that.
And that's 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's working. That's really
right.
working.
I mean, that's what people who are in business for themselves, that's what you do,
yes.
That's what I do, that's what it takes to be in business for yourself. And part of that time could be your survival job or your second survival job, to pay for the acting classes, to pay for all of that.
It's not going to go on. The thing is that it's not going to go on forever,
but the 12 to 14 hours a day is going
it will.
to go
What I'm
on.
trying to say is that the grunt work, that type of work, that type of work won't go on forever. It'll go into a different type of work, but you have to start that process of that work. You have to be doing that work. You have to experience that work. That'll help you with your fear of doing that work as well.
I want to touch on something in the 3 steps of failure. It's distractions, addictions, and wrong actions. Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
I want to touch on the addictions. What do you mean by that? I mean, that's a touchy, subject to bring in, and people.
Well, the truth is, Judy, and the truth is that I have seen so many careers that could have been beautiful, and because of certain addictions, they just turned sour. That's not to say that people have not experienced addictions and overcome their addictions, meaning that they're sober, that they've and gone on to be successful. There's a lot of actors that's happened to, but unfortunately there's way more actors that have succumbed to their addictions.
And what type of addictions are we talking about?
Young actors in LA, alcohol and drugs. Those are the main. And in my book I tell stories about how actors, the problem is actors come here, a young actor comes here and they get into the party scene. And there's nothing wrong with...
There's a great party scene here.
There's nothing wrong with getting involved with the party scene. For young actors, it's kind of your newfound independence. It's where to meet other actors who have dreams that you have, or other artists that have dreams. There's nothing wrong. Every generation has had their party scene. So we can't go, oh, I don't, you know. I mean, I lived through the 80s, so I understand that aspect of it. But it's getting caught up in the party scene. See, you have to realize that you can't stay out too late because you're supposed to get up the next morning and start working. Even if you just go out and know, I'm going to go out to a certain point, I'm going to only drink this 1 or 2 drinks, and that's it. And then because I have to get up tomorrow morning because I got to go to work. What work? You don't have any work. You're an actor. Well, I have to do this and I have to do that.
That's how you look.
Exactly. Oh, well, that's absolutely. Absolutely. That's the first thing to go, is the looks. Beautiful young boys and girls just get ravished by drugs and alcohol. And they go back home. Some of them, the parents will come and pick them up and they go back home. It's bye-bye. So addictions is, addictions of the 3 steps of failure, addictions will lead you off the path, and they could lead you off the path permanently. So distractions,
Any advice for that?
I think you need to be aware of why, when, and how you drink and what you need to do. I think you need to be aware of, if you're drinking because you're leaving acting class and you're feeling lousy about your performance, you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware that that's what's going on.
You must be awake.
Yeah. Well, you need to ask yourself, you need to say, okay, I'm feeling down, I'm going to take a drink. Is that what I should be doing? I mean, we all do it. We drink to celebrate, we drink to comfort ourselves.
We talked about Jason Alexander with his Shakespeare monologue that didn't go well, and instead of going out to get a drink with you,
exactly.
He went back and spent those hours.
Exactly. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do.
Well, and I interrupted you about the distractions.
Well, distractions, that particular step is one that is not as obvious to people, because many times distractions can be comforting to us, meaning that certain relationships that we have are comforting, or certain jobs that we do can be comforting. And that could be comforting in a physical comforting, or it can be give us money, and that could lead to a much more comfortable, stable life. There's many types of distractions, but
how is that bad?
Because if they pull you away from what you're meant to do. I've broken down the distractions in 3 categories: money, family, and relationship. Money, you probably understand. If you don't have enough money, then you won't be taking acting class. If you're not taking acting class, then you put yourself off the road to success. And actors would need to realize that you need a survival job, and it's just meant to survive. That's what a survival job is. And if you need to have 2 survival jobs, you can get 2 survival jobs. There's plenty of opportunities out here in Los Angeles to do many different types of survival jobs. And it's really important. And actually, many stars who go on talk shows talk about their fun, ridiculous survival jobs. They're not meant to be glamorous. They're meant to help you survive. They're meant to help you invest in your acting career. But money is a huge distraction, because if you don't get enough of it, then it puts you off your path. And the other problem with money is that sometimes actors get into other careers that will take them away from the acting career. And they have to realize that having an acting career is busy enough. Having a whole separate career will take you away from your acting career. Anyone who has a 9-to-5 career outside of acting is going to have a hell of a hard time having an acting career. And the reason they have that 9-to-5 job is understandable. They want the comfort and the stability of the money that money provides. But I have to tell you that that's going to be very difficult to have an acting career. The other one is
your family.
Your family. Well, that's look. If your family doesn't support and understand why you moved to LA and why you want to become an actor, that can be a distraction for you. Because A, you might be busy trying to appease them, and that could take you away from the work that needs to be done. Or you are so full of fear of not being able to do what you need to do to be successful that you don't do anything. You kind of let their non-support and understanding affect you enough for you not to be active, to be proactive. And the other idea with family is becoming the point person. This is something that I personally can understand because I was the point person in my family.
What does that mean?
Meaning that I was the person that they called when there was a problem in the family. Whether it was just an argument with Aunt Sue or if there was so-and-so's birthday that we have to plan for. And if you're the point person in your family, whether you're an actor or anything else, you have to realize, sociologically speaking, that you won't be successful because that person is always called upon and you'll be taken away from your work. It's a big job to be the point person in your family.
How do you get out of that?
How do you get out of that is that number one, you have to let them know, your family know, and this goes for the people who have families that don't support and understand. You have to let them know what you are doing. You have to let them know the 4 Ps. What is your purpose? What is the plan that you have? You have to let them know about what it takes what happens in an acting class, what happens in an audition, how long it actually takes, that it's not some fairy tale that they've seen on television. You have to let them know. Not only will you teach them and educate them about the business, but they will help you and hold you accountable. Now, of course, if you tell your family that you can no longer be the point person because you're way too busy running an acting career, they're not going to like that at first, but they will respect you once they see that you've progressed, because you will progress. But sometimes we become the point person, or we keep becoming the point person because it takes us away from what we're supposed to be doing.
And it makes us feel needed and important and called upon and still part of that family.
Yeah, well, guess what? You're not going to be successful if that's what you need. If that's your desire and your need in life, and that's okay, you're not going to be a successful actor.
Oh, because that's strict.
Yeah, well, it's tough. It's very tough to get a phone call from your parent or someone in your family right before you're going on an important audition and be bombarded by problems that they're asking you to solve.
What about?
And then all of a sudden, you're all about that and not about the work that needs to be at hand.
Well, what about sometimes your family's flying in and you have acting class, but you have to go pick them up from the airport?
I don't get that.
I don't either.
Now, granted, if you're able to make up the class, that's okay. But if you're not able to make up the class and you will lose a class, I think that's, you know why that happens? Because there's not a communication with the actor and their family. There's not a communication to say, I will pick you up at the airport, just so you know, Tuesday nights is church night. That's my acting class. That I make that very important. Please don't come on Tuesday, otherwise I can't pick you up. That sends a message to the family, well, wow, acting must be very important to them. No Tuesday night. I got it. It's very clear. It's very important for an actor to do that with their family and let them know that class is important because class represents their career. Classroom is a microcosm for their career. So yes, picking up is just crazy. And not even just family. I have people who don't come to class due to the fact that they're bringing a friend to the airport. I'd say, hold it. You're going to lose money because take a cab for $37 and let them take a cab instead of losing money for class. Make class your priority. Make your career a priority.
But it's not only class, it's all the other things that you have to do that you're spending that 12 hours a day
And then the other one is relationships. We get into relationships that are unhealthy in the sense that we are with people who don't understand or support what we're doing as actors. And if you find yourself in that relationship, that will distract you from your career, because you'll end up once again appeasing that relationship, trying to make that relationship work. If somehow the person doesn't understand and support what you're doing, then you're going to do your best to make them understand that, and that focuses the energy on the relationship, and that doesn't focus the energy on the career. Every relationship, I believe, needs a certain amount of work, but you have to realize that when you're in a healthy relationship, I believe when you're in a relationship, that person wants to help you fulfill your destiny. That person wants you to be successful, to help you fulfill your destiny. And that's a good relationship. And you, of course, want to help them fulfill their destiny. So in other words, they see your destiny as to be an actor. They want to help you do that. And I think that's important.
Right.
Because there's so many people who are not in relationships, and they don't want the other person to be successful. And sometimes, and I have stories in my book, sometimes they say, I want you to be successful,
right,
but they don't really want you to be successful.
And they prove that by their actions.
Right.
I wanted to talk, because I know we both share this, about tardiness.
Yeah, being late. I don't get that. I don't get that. And I realize there are some people who are just always late and have a bad practice in it, but you know what? It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my studio. I have a little slogan I say is, early is on time is late, late is unacceptable. Because if you start becoming late in class, then you become late in your auditions, then you'll become late on the set. Trust me, it'll happen. And I unfortunately have to address that many times with students. I had recently had a student who, a wonderful actor who had great potential, but was constantly late, and I took him to the side and I said, you can't be late anymore. You got to stop it. You can't be late. You're walking in late and in front of the whole class, and you just can't do that anymore. And he says he wouldn't do that anymore. Of course, the next week he was late, and I had to remove him from class. And one of the reasons I had to do that, and I didn't want to do that because he was an actor with potential, but he was disrespecting not just me, but the other actors. Also, he was showing the other actors that it's cool to be late. I can be late. He was saying to the other actors, in a way, a nonverbal, saying, it's okay, you can be late too. And it's not okay. Being late is rude. Just plain and simple. It's rude, and I'm not sure if it's something about entitlement or fear of getting there early and having to deal with other people, or a sense of, you have more power. I don't know what it is, but late is not cool. There's no reason for people to be late in a business sense. Personally, if you're late, that's fine. Whoever you're with can deal with it, your friends, your loved one. But when it comes to business, and acting class is business, you don't want to be late.
What I've heard people say, they don't know how to be on time.
It's time management is the issue, and actors need to learn how to have proper time management. And that's a schedule. That is what you're doing during the day. And if you have a schedule for yourself, then you'll have a much better chance of not being late. The funny thing about actors, and just going back a little on the family, I just thought of this because I think it's interesting, is that we have these families who don't understand what you do, or don't support it, or that you're the point person, and I'm saying to them, you've got to talk to them, you've got to communicate with them. But one of the things that's interesting, and I think actors will understand that, is that your family can call you at any time, and you're available. Then go, I'll call them at 4 o'clock, I'll call them at 9 o'clock, because you don't have that set routine, that set schedule. So to them, you're always available. And to some, they are available. So I say, make yourself a set schedule, so when they call and say, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting, I'm with my CAG, I'm actually doing this, I'm going to do that,
or don't answer the phone.
Or don't pick up, absolutely. But I think it's important to educate them on what you're doing, that you do, even though it's not a set job, a 9-to-5 job at an office, but what you do is a job. You get on the computer, you do Actors Access, you do that work, you do that from 10 to 11 or whatever you need to do.
With me. I want to read what's on the back of the book about who he is. He has years of experience in both Los Angeles and New York. You saw I had to adjust for my eyes.
Yes, I thought it was very good though, yeah.
As an agent, casting director, acting coach and TV personality. How does an acting coach get to be a TV personality?
You know, I turned into the go-to guy when it had to do with actors.
I've done about
well, I've done about 10 different shows.
Fit for Fame, or Fight for Fame was a big one.
I've done about 10 different shows.
Fit for Fame, Fight for Fame was a big one.
Network and Saturday mornings called Character Fantasy, where a show like USA Network. I help Saturday mornings fulfill their dreams and destinies. And I did a show called Adventures in Hollywood with 3-6 Mafia. That was on MTV. And I'm also...
You have another MTV.
Yeah, VH1 show about Hollywood, where they've actually come into my acting class, which is interesting. And that's another 10-week show. And they come into my acting class, and it revolves around my acting class and actors in Hollywood.
And they bring in actors too?
Yes, I had half of the class was mine, and the other half was the actors they brought in. Because you know that reality television, what I call reality television, is manufactured reality.
Well, yes.
So, but the thing though that I'm pretty...
and it's important for the audience to keep that in mind.
Oh, it is, it is.
It is written.
But I will tell you something, honestly, I don't know if it's written necessarily. It might be outlined by the producers, and they have to, the conflict comes from the editing, but also the conflict comes from the characterizations that they bring in. But I've always felt like any work that I've ever done on any of those shows, it's really been important for me to have my integrity. And so I've never done anything that I ever felt like was manufactured. And that's the way.
So how do you help, like on Fight for Fame, those actors who were really, really green?
I'm good at seeing how to spot someone emotionally, what turns somebody, how to emotionally access somebody. And that was probably a lot what I did with Fight for Fame. I was able to immediately go to it, and the actor was able to respond to it. So that was kind of my thing that I did with that, which got them emotional right away and which propelled them into a scene. So it was very exciting. And that also was dramatic. So the producers wanted me to do that. When they first saw me do that, they went, oh yeah, I want you to do that more, because that became more dramatic. So I'd ask them about, you know, when you talk to an actor about their childhood, you know, about their mother or their father or their brother or their sister, something emotionally starts to happen with them. Especially if they're an actor who, after some exercises, you've gotten warmed up vocally, physically, and emotionally, then they're much more accessible to get in there and, you know, tap into their emotions.
I have 1 minute left.
Oh, wow.
So,
I talk a lot.
Well, I think I ask good questions.
You do too.
We want to be sure in this 1 minute if there's anything that we didn't really touch on that we want to talk about.
You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that it will
this is
happen.
this is what, because with the family thing, if you allow those distractions, if you allow that comes from not believing in yourself.
Yeah, it comes from fear. Well, it comes from fear. And part of that fear is whether it's the fear of failure or the fear of success. But it all comes back to, you know, the Jason Alexander story, because that's a guy who believed in himself. He believed. Yes, it might have been instilled in him in childhood, but at the same time, when you're getting into the acting world, all bets are off. The playing field is leveled. Even though you've come from a childhood that you've instilled with confidence, or you're not instilled with confidence, when you get into acting, it's an acting confidence that you need. And the only way to feel confident about what you're doing is to practice and to keep practicing, and is to keep persevering at doing it. The more and more you practice, the better you become. The better you become as an actor, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the more auditions you will get. The more auditions you get, the more bookings you will get. And that's really what it takes.
Well, I want to say thank you to Scott Sedita and Scott Sedita's Guide to Making It in Hollywood. You have shared so many great ideas for actors of how to take a hold of their life and how to take a hold of their talent, their confidence, their perseverance, and to stay out of the
three steps to failure: addictions and wrong actions. The wrong actions is a great chapter.
The wrong actions, for me, is a guide on what to do right.
Right.
What is the top wrong action, do you think?
Unprepared. Actors who are unprepared. And once again, that breaks down to fear. You have an audition, you don't prepare as strong as you should. Why don't you prepare? Because you're fearful. You're fearful that because if you prepare...
How do you conquer fear?
You experience it. You acknowledge it. You say, I'm fearful that if I go into that audition and that if I'll fall on my face.